Hey guys, welcome to the Let's Talk Football podcast with me and my mate Cam.
Hey guys.
And basically today we'll be talking about, well, it's the first episode on my channel of the Let's Talk Football podcast, and today we'll be talking about in the mid-season of the Premier League. So throughout this whole podcast, don't get me wrong guys, it's our first podcast on this channel, so if we're a bit shaky or we're a bit, let's just say, weak, do forgive us. But we wanted to make this podcast, football podcast video or audio, is because obviously me and my mate Cam, we love football, and it's pretty much halfway through the season, and we've kind of joined a bit late. So normally, from now on, past this video, we'll be doing each game week. However, like I said, because we started a bit late, we'll be starting throughout half the season as kind of our own opinion on how the season's going so far.
There's like so much to talk about as well, isn't there? Like 20 games in already, it's just...
Yeah, some teams have played 19,
start.
some people have played 21.
Yeah.
So,
it's all around that mix. It's only Spurs and Tottenham. Spurs and Tottenham. Spurs and Fulham, sorry, that have played 21 games.
I mean, obviously, guys, welcome. Pretty much, if you guys are just jumping in from the get-go and you're there like, whoa, no one's told me I'm doing a podcast, then please do watch my last video. That will explain everything. So if you're unable and if you're confused, go back to the last video and all will be explained, I do promise. Yeah. However, back to the point of the video, back to the point of the podcast.
Okay, exciting.
Let's just start off from the get-go. Okay. I think this is one of the most entertaining Premier League seasons we've had in the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I agree completely. I feel like it's more just to do with how many surprising teams are entering the top 10, and then you've got the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea who are just struggling so much. I feel like that adds to the drama anyway, because seeing of Brighton fighting for the top 6 and being 5 points? Not 5 points. How many points are they off the top 4? About 8 or something like that?
Yeah, they are 8 points off. 8 points off Man United, who are in 4th place.
And then Newcastle, who for the past few years have just been in contention for relegation all the time, are now pushing for a Champions League spot. I feel like they're gonna, they'll edge around the 3rd, 4th and 5th place. But I assume we're going to get onto the upper stages of the table later and speak more about
of course.
the bottom boys for now.
As much as we'd love to talk about every individual team just in random order, we don't want to lose you guys or lose track of our own. We don't want to lose track of ourselves. But yeah, like I was just saying then, the past about 4 seasons, it's been very predictable.
Yeah.
And especially even leading up to the winner.
Yeah,
this year, City are second.
Yeah.
And not just by a few points, sometimes what Liverpool would do a few seasons ago. That's the only points that they're clear. They're 5 points clear with a game in hand.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they need to play City twice, but like we said, we will get onto that we'll get onto that very soon.
Once we rise up the table.
So we'll start off at the bottom of the table. In 20th place, Southampton. They've played 20 games. They've only won 4 of them 20 games. They've drawn 3 and they've lost 13. What do you think?
I think this will be their last season in the top 5 for now.
Do you think they're going down?
Yes, I do. But I feel like with the entire relegation, if you walk from 14th to 20th, there's a split of 2 points, 2-3 points. That's it.
Yeah.
I feel like picking who's going to go down though is one of the toughest things ever, because you look at the likes of Leicester, West Ham and Wolves, can you really see any of them going down, especially at the start of this season? I don't feel like you'd see any of them even in a fight for relegation at this point, especially Leicester, because for the past few years they've been literally in contention for the top 4, and then suddenly they've just dropped and now they're fighting a relegation battle simply.
Yeah, I do agree. It is crazy. From 14th to 20th, there is only 3 points, and that's absurd. I think. Don't get me wrong. What I'm going to say next won't help me for my next case. But they've only won 4 games out of 20, and it's not really, in my opinion, it's not really about how your form is in the Premier League to not get relegated. It's about the teams around you and how they do.
Yeah.
And I just feel teams like Everton, Wolves, West Ham, Leeds, and Leicester, if they hit their teams are good in depth, in my opinion, and they have a better team than Southampton and maybe Bournemouth, which we'll get onto.
They're definitely capable. But
yeah, they're capable, but
as well, to counter that, Nottingham Forest had, in my opinion, more of a weakened side than all of them, and they I don't even know what's happened to them. I think the past 2 games they won back to back, and now they're looking the safest out of literally, 14th and below. But obviously the gap still isn't that big between them and Leicester, which if Leicester catch them up, that means they're automatically just going to fall back into that trap. But it's reached a point now where I don't think Nottingham Forest are actually going to go down, and it will literally be between 14th to the current 20th. So yeah.
I mean, we'll get on to Nottingham Forest because they're doing quite well at the moment. I've just had a brief look at their results, and we will go through that. However, while we're on Southampton, personally, I do think they will go down. Just scrolling through these results here. Obviously, they beat Everton.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Who doesn't at this stage? They surprisingly, however, I will say this though. They are starting to fight a bit. They are.
Well, did you remember what Southampton are doing now? Kind of reminds me of what Swansea did a few years ago. So when they got relegated in the last season, there was a point where they beat Liverpool and Arsenal both at home.
Yeah.
I think they beat Arsenal 1-0 and then they beat Liverpool 3-1. Might be vice versa. But either way, everyone saw those results and were thinking, they'll stay up. Surely they must have been beating those sides. Southampton have beat City out the cup, which I feel like a League Cup result's a bit different from the actual Premier League. Then they beat Everton away. I don't actually remember what their last result was, unless it was.
So their last Premier League result was a loss to Aston Villa at home 1-0, and then prior to that they beat Everton 2-1. They beat City in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, which we will briefly talk about as well in this episode. Of course, we will speak about just recently the FA Cup results. We've literally just gone past, and in half an hour the FA Cup draw is out. So we will have a live reaction to that as well. That will be fun.
Yeah.
And then prior to them beating City, they beat Palace 2-1 in the FA Cup, and they lost to Nottingham Forest. So Premier League wise, they in the last 3 they've lost, won, and lost.
Who then do you generally think will be the bottom 3 by the end of the season?
Okay, so I think Southampton, I think Bournemouth, and I think Nottingham Forest.
Do you think they'll drop that hard?
I just think depth-wise, maybe I'm gonna be. I don't know. I'm looking at the results, and then their past 5, they've only lost 1.
Yeah.
They've drawn 2, won 2.
Mine's very I don't know how I feel about it, but I think it'll be Southampton, Bournemouth, and I think Wolves. I think Wolves will pop off. Don't know why.
That's a big shout. I didn't want to make that shout.
I think they will.
It's only the first episode of it saying Wolves are going to go down.
Because, I just don't feel like they have a confident goal scorer, even though they signed Diego Costa, which is insane.
Like what Ben Foster said.
Yeah.
He's been in the midst of a relegation battle loads of times, and it's not how you defend goals. You can defend goals all you want.
You just need to score them.
They will score.
Because that was the thing, I think, at earlier stages of the season, there was a point where Wolves were in the relegation, but they conceded, the third least amount of goals, because they only lose, 1 or 2-0, if that. It's just scoring them, which is their issue. But I think they'll go down and they'll finish about 18th, maybe. Only because I feel like after Everton have brought in Sean Dyche, and depending on who they bring in the next 48 hours, current time of recording, I feel like they will have the strength to get out of it. Don't get me wrong, I think they're going to be in it till the end of the season for a while, but I do think they'll scrape it. And then the likes of, I think Leeds are in there, but I think West Ham and Leicester are I think they'll be fine. I do think they'll be fine.
And they do have depth.
I can't see a world where West Ham or Leicester go down. I can see Wolves more than anyone, surprisingly. Just everything. Looking at their badge now, I'm like, you just fit so nice into that 18th spot.
Really?
That's literally it. That's all I see. And I don't know. I feel like everyone wants Everton to go down. I feel like that's like everyone's dream at the moment. With how much like slander and stuff that we've been getting online and stuff, but I think it'll be drawn over to someone else. Although we have lost the least amount of games in the Premier League season so far. Everton have only won 3. Not won a game since
the least team in the Premier League we've won.
I think it's October the last time we won a game, and that was about 3-0 against Crystal Palace. Since then, we just...
Well, moving on to 19th place, like we were saying, Everton.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, like I said, I do think Southampton will go down.
Yeah.
I think Bournemouth will go down. I don't think Everton will go down.
No.
But speaking of their performances so far, they haven't been good.
Oh no, they've been so poor.
I think this is the one we will speak the most about in the bottom half, because obviously, if you guys don't know, Cam is an Everton fan. Obviously,
miserably.
They've not had a good season so far, and a lot of drama has been made, even in the past 24 hours, can we say?
Yeah, of course.
So let's just start from the beginning. At the beginning of the season, Everton sell Richarlison, which is a massive blow. It is a massive blow.
Yeah, it's huge.
And how much they struggled last season, take away their best striker, it's only common sense they will struggle more.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, you guys brought in Dwight McNeil, I believe, Onana, Tarkowski, Garner Gay, Connor Cody, but I'm not hearing a Richarlison type name.
We brought in like solid enough players that you'd look at in a starting 11 and think like they're good enough to survive, they're good enough to push on, they're good enough to do well, and like I feel like it is more the attacking sense, because we had one of the best defensive records at the start of the season, but like we didn't win a game until about, I want to say 5 or 6 games in. It did take us a while.
Yeah.
And it got to I don't know what happened though, because it got to a point where like we had barely conceded any goals, and then suddenly something just snapped in us, and we kept getting battered every single week by so many sides, conceding like 4 at home to Brighton, and then we're losing. I don't know if you saw. I think I mentioned this. This to you the other day. But the teams that like hadn't won in about 10-11 games have only won 1 game recently, and they were all to Everton. So like Southampton, Bournemouth, Wolves, and West Ham hadn't won a game in like 10 or 11 games. Then they all come to Goodison Park, or we go to the Olympic Stadium. I think that's what West Ham's ground. And they all beat us. Like we've got beat by 16th, 17th, 18th, and 20th. So we are losing to sides where it's like
they are crucial.
Yeah, they're crucial because you look at those games as well, and it's like that should be your consistent bounce of just win, win, win. Kinda not secure safety, but you've gained 12 points above them all, and you just stay in your own lane and just get wins where you can. But I don't know. I'm good about it all, especially the whole Frank Lampard situation as well.
Obviously, we'll touch about that. So they've only, just for context, guys, out of 20 games, Everton have only won 3, which is the least the Premier League team has won this season. 2
at home, 1 away. That's it.
One away win in the whole season.
2 home games. That is like shameful.
6 draws and 11 losses. And it's just simply not good enough.
No,
and I think obviously before Frank Lampard got sacked, the Everton fans were getting very pissed off.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
I think
we'll touch on this as well. Where the Everton fans, after, I don't know what game it was, but they hunted down the Everton players. They hunted down.
Yeah.
I generally think hunted down's the right word, because they got out like their pitchforks and their knives and the fucking everything.
I think Southampton was the match where everyone was just done. It was like we've lost the bottom of the league at home, and it's like.
Here's the question: when do you reckon Frank Lampard? When did you think Frank Lampard had to go?
To be honest with you, I didn't have the thought. Like, there was never a thought where I wanted him out or said like I want him to get sacked or anything. But I don't know. There's certain points where it's like you're losing a consistent amount of games on the bounce, and it comes to a point where you can't defend a manager anymore. I just think he lost the dressing room. Players didn't want to play under him. When you're losing consistently to all these poor sides. But to me, the game was when I think we lost 4-1 in the cup to Bournemouth, and then we lost 3-0 to them in the league about 4 days later.
I remember
I
that.
think those where you conceding 7 goals to Bournemouth into like match games. That to me is a sign of like, yeah, this manager's just not got it.
That is crazy. 7 goals in 2 games. Bournemouth,
Yeah.
who were only 2 points ahead of you.
And remember, Bournemouth conceded like 9 goals to Liverpool in one match. It's like it's
honestly scary, the difference.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the change was made for Sean Dyche to come in. We'll talk about Sean Dyche as well in depth.
I think we've got, with Sean Dyche anyway, we've just got the safest manager that we could have picked. I do think he'll keep us up. He'll play a very stubborn type of Brexit ball, as we all know. And I think he'll grind us into the Premier League next season.
I was going to...
Just about, yeah.
That was my next question. I was going to say, will Everton stay up, or will they get relegated?
I think so. I think we'll survive, because you just like... I don't know. I think there was a point where we got beat by Brighton, and I thought that was it. I was like, yeah, this is done. Like, this is it. The levels between us and Brighton is a joke, because if you consider, like, they got they got promoted to the Premier League 6 years ago. I've spent far less than us. We've, in that time, sort of probably spent nearly half a billion. And we are somehow worse than them. They are a top 6 side as we're currently speaking, and we're nowhere near that, sat in 19th place. And I don't understand how, the board can spend so much money just to go backwards.
They need to spend the money in the right places, and they haven't done that. No. I don't think ever consistently. No. Ever since I don't remember your board spending correctly on anyone bar under Moyes.
I can't think of any signings as well that we've made in the past 5 years that I've generally thought were like something for the future. Bar maybe the likes of Gylfi Sigurdsson, Michael Keane at the time was probably a good signing.
I agree.
Who else did we sign? I'm trying to think.
I think Richarlison.
Yeah, Richarlison was a big one. Richarlison was a big one. It was.
You know what?
And then, there was Decore. Like when we had Carlo Ancelotti, Decore, Allen, and James Rodriguez were like.
They were a trio.
Yeah, they were your perfect set, and it's like kind of what we always wished for. But bar that, there are thousands of players that you could list where we've signed them, and it's like, why? I still was against the whole Wayne Rooney return. I don't see the point. I never did. Fair play to him, he carried us that season, but I just never saw the point of it. Then we've wasted money on like Davy Klaassen, who didn't get a bloody game of football. That Gaberman, who probably just got thrown into a fucking prison, when we signed him, because I've never seen him once. I think he arrived, broke his foot, and just, that was it.
Honestly, the only thing I remember of him is him being on FIFA 18.
Yeah, that's it. And there's so many other players that we could have signed for his price, and we just wasted away. We signed Sam Allardyce, brought in that Mangala from City. Don't think I've ever seen him play a single game of football. And it's, yeah, and there's many more as well. The list goes on and on and on. It's just, it's ridiculous how much money we've actually wasted on signings, honestly.
And talking about signings, Everton of course have been linked with a few players. However, going the opposite way, Anthony Gordon has just signed for Newcastle for, I believe, 45 million.
I think it's 40, but with fees rising to about 45.
But with agent fees,
and we've got a. I can't remember what that clause is called. If they sell on, is it a sell on clause where we
correct.
get, so we'll get a certain percentage if he ever goes. But it's just such a random signing, I think, for Newcastle anyway, because I don't see where he's going to play, who he's going to play over, and just simply where he fits into the team. That's it.
I massively agree with you. We will touch on that, because I love jumping the gun, but with Everton bringing in signings, have you guys brought anyone this January yet?
No, it's meant to be the next 48 hours as of recording. Sean Dyche has apparently already been negotiating, trying to get about 4 players in. So it's looking alright. There's a bright spark to it, but it's who we actually bring in and who's strong enough to get us out of the relegation zone. I know there was huge talks recently of the likes of, I think, Hakim Ziyech on a loan deal from Chelsea, and then we tried to negotiate some sort of actual signing for him, but I don't think that's going to go anywhere. Nor could I see a player of his quality like join a side like us. And then recently it was like Conor Gallagher, stuff like that in the midfield, which again, it's like, it's one of those signings where you see it and it doesn't bring a lot of inspiration, and I don't see what it brings to us that would help us survive.
You guys need experience, in my opinion. You have enough young players. However, you guys need experience because you have a very experienced manager. He will get you over the line.
Yeah.
He will get you over the line, in my opinion. I think you guys will stay up. And I think every time I think of Everton, I think, Christ, we have to play Everton next. And it's like Goodison. And I always think, right, and I remember having this conversation with you a few weeks ago when Everton when Man United beat Everton, and you were there like, United just beating us at Goodison. That never normally happens. It's normally a draw written all over it. And I agree, man.
I think the main one at the moment is a signing from Coventry. I can't remember. I don't know how to pronounce his second name, but he's called Victor Gyökeres. I want to say that's how you pronounce it.
Correct.
Scored, I want to say, 18 goals in 26 appearances.
That's good.
Yeah, and I think Coventry are after about 18 million for him. So if we bring him in, it's...
Personally, would I pay it? It depends who's the option.
Yeah.
Honestly, it depends.
I never know what our striker options are anymore. Neil Maupay has done the exact same thing he does every season, where he does well in the opening 6 games and then just goes extinct. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is just injured.
I don't know the problem with
Dominic Calvert-Lewin just seems to either be injured all the time or just isn't doing it like he used to. I say like he used to. He had one proper good season, didn't he?
I think that was a season under Carlo when you were nearly top by Christmas.
I know, and that was only just over 18 months ago as well. So it's changed drastically a lot. But I'm just sick of us spending all this money on certain players because Conor Gallagher, for example, we're offering 45 million, and it's why? I don't see 45 million as a price that we'd pay for someone of Conor Gallagher's quality. Not that I think he's a bad player, I just haven't seen him enough to be oh, that's someone that I'd like to see in our squad. And I don't see who he replaces in our team, who he's better than at the moment, so...
To be fair, he can play on the wing. He has played on the wing for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I just think that's another Anthony Gordon. Yeah. No offense to Gallagher, he's a better player than Gordon.
Did he have a good season at Crystal Palace? I've heard.
Yeah. He was. I think the word inspirational.
Yeah.
He brought the team up every time he came onto the pitch, and he does show effort. Every time I've seen him play for Chelsea.
Yeah.
However, I think this move would be good for him because I don't think he's going to be getting into the Chelsea team anytime soon. Because, Chelsea just love to splash the cash at the moment, especially on all these wingers.
Been signing so many, We'll speak about one of the certain signings, I'm sure, later on when we get to them. Because, I have a very just mixed opinion on him and all. But yeah, no, I think the downfall of our side is just, insane. Especially because we've just dropped drastically from, we finished 10th under Carlo, and you're thinking, okay, we've just got to bring someone new in that's going to steady the ship. For some reason, our owners see banners of Rafa Benitez outside saying we don't want him, he's shit, he's all this. And then our owners just think to themselves, ooh, I know who we'll bring in, Rafa Benitez. And it's but no one wants him. And to be fair, I guess there was no one available at the time, but Nuno Espirito Santos that went to Spurs, we could have tried to go for someone like that. Don't know how well it would have worked. Probably better than Rafa, though, at the end of the day. And then we ended up getting with Frank Lampard, which at the time I was excited for. I feel like he's a manager that gets so much disrespect than he should. I feel like he had a really good tenure at Chelsea. And the harsh comments that he receives of he gets teams from 6th to 6th and 4th to 4th, it's fair enough with Derby, you probably should have got that team promoted because it's probably the best Derby side you've seen in years, especially to where they are now. But with Chelsea, it's they finished 4th, they lost Eden Hazard, had a transfer ban, managed to get them Champions League football without all that.
through the youth.
Exactly, yeah, and he did really well with that. And players like Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham, players that Chelsea fans love, and I think Tammy Abraham's at Roma now.
Yeah.
Good player though, very good player. Wouldn't probably be where they are without Frank Lampard. So.
No. Going back to the Derby point, to be fair, they beat Leeds.
Yeah.
They beat Bielsa.
Yeah.
And I do think he gets a bit of hype, Bielsa.
Yeah.
Not that he doesn't deserve it. It's just, is it overhyped?
Yeah.
It's like, let's look back at what he's won. But Frank Lampard beat Leeds in a very good match. I do recommend, if you're a football fan, to watch that match.
Get the highlights on.
However, they did lose to an Aston Villa side that was coming back up.
Yeah.
That Aston Villa side
They were on the
was a good side, and
Yeah.
they've not been down since. So I think we can spare the excuse for Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
And coming back to that, Wayne Rooney, look how hard his job been at Derby.
I think the Derby County stuff.
I think he deserves more respect. Frankly.
It's getting off topic. The Derby County stuff, I do think he should have got them promoted. But the Chelsea situation, I do think he was harshly treated. Maybe when he got sacked, it was the right decision because they were in incredibly poor form. But you know what that club is like when it comes to management and harsh sackings. Again, there was one at the start of this season with Thomas Tuchel that we'll get onto probably later as well. Being, should we rise up the table?
Of
anyway,
course.
do you want to jump to a certain team?
Of course. So let's just briefly, only very briefly, talk about Bournemouth. Sorry, any Bournemouth fans out there.
They're all like, no, let's not.
But there's nothing I don't think more set in stone for me personally that Bournemouth I think will go down.
Yeah.
And my points are their team isn't as good as the teams around them.
Yeah.
I think they will drop off. I think they have a poor run of form. They don't have a good home record. They don't have a good away record. And I've never known them to have a fortress at the
Is it the Vitality
yeah,
Stadium?
the Vitality Stadium, I believe.
It's the Cherries though.
Yeah,
call them whatever.
However, it is a nice away day. I will say that. However,
If you like your beaches.
Bournemouth, in my opinion, belong in the Championship.
Yeah.
And that's where their main success can come from. That's
harsh.
their income. That is their income. They don't.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. How they make their income is from the Championship jumping to the Premier League. That's their income.
Yeah.
And if they keep doing that, keep doing what Fulham and Norwich do. However, Fulham I don't think are going down. Keep doing what Norwich do. That's their main income.
Yeah.
It's how they make all their money. And I think Bournemouth just need to keep doing that at the moment. But at the moment, in my opinion, they are going down.
Yeah.
However, what's your opinion anyway?
I think they'll go down. It's simple for it. They had that result that a lot of no, actually that's not true. But they just suffer certain results where you look at it and think, you just don't see it, do you? I don't think there's a lot of fight in them. I do think at the start of the season, to be fair to them, they lost 9-0 to Liverpool and then went on a decent run. I remember the game where they beat Nottingham Forest away and I think they were 2-0 down and they managed to turn it around and win. They obviously beat Everton 3-0, did alright with them. But they are losing a lot of crucial games now that they should be winning. Well, not that they should be winning, but that they need to be winning if they want to survive.
Correct.
4 wins out of 20. I do look at the relegation zone and think this has got to be one of the poorest set of teams I've ever seen in the Premier League for a good long time. Because everyone's won 4 or 5 games out of 20, which is just ridiculous.
It's especially for the teams that are there. It's like this season has been switched. Oh,
yeah.
Hit the mic. Sorry.
Over previous seasons, anyway.
Yeah, because in my opinion, Leicester, Leeds, West Ham, and Wolves are normally flip it.
Yeah.
And Brentford, Fulham, Brighton are normally where fighting near the relegation.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But yeah, in my opinion, Bournemouth will go down. But Cajones through them if they stay up, and I will rate it. However, I'll never really see them as an official Premier League club, in my opinion.
No.
Sorry, guys. I know I've been a bit of a savage.
They don't have the stature, do they?
No, they do not. Moving on to 17, we have Wolves. I think we spoke on this briefly.
Yeah.
Do you think they will go down?
I do.
I'm not having the balls to say they will, because I don't see it. Maybe I don't want to see it. I wouldn't know why. However, you make a very good point. They do not have they don't have they are struggling to score goals.
They've scored 12 goals. That's the least in the Premiership this season, and they've conceded 30. So it does tell you they don't concede the most, but they don't score the most either. But again, saying that, they've conceded more than the likes of Everton, who are 2 places below them, and West Ham, who are above them as well. So it's a big mix-up, isn't it? And they've won 4 games this season. They've not beat anyone convincing, I don't think. They've beat Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Everton and West Ham. 4 teams that realistically, to be fair to them, saying that they should be beaten because they're all surrounding them.
Correct.
But if they're not picking up points against, what's it called, sides, I guess, in the mid-table mark, turning draws into wins, etc.
Yeah.
That's why I do think that they'll probably start struggling. And it is one of those signs as well where I think to myself, like, not that they're necessarily lucky, but with West Ham and Everton, they've kind of caught them in a really poor stage in their, like, overall football and just placement in general. And it's like, if you looked at, say it was the Everton of old or West Ham of old or something like that, Wolves would, like, be in such a shitty situation right now. But obviously, it doesn't matter. We're here and now, isn't it? So, at the end of the day, they sit 17th on goal difference. If they stay up, fair play. I just don't see it. Not at the moment, anyway. Unless they do, like, turn around such a good fortune of luck.
Well, I think they will stay up, which means I think
someone else.
Bournemouth, Everton, and someone else will go down. I'll decide.
Oh, you do think Everton will go down?
No,
Southampton.
No,
Sorry.
Excuse me, Bournemouth,
Southampton, and someone else.
Someone else.
Okay.
However, I do want to speak about these 2 topics very quickly, and only very briefly. If Wolves go down, Ruben Neves.
Where's he go?
Yeah, I want him at United. I send him to me.
I think he'd go to Manchester United. But you know when you can just picture something and it kind of, you wouldn't never imagine it in a million years. But I think he could go to somewhere like Spurs.
Never see with a white kit.
Genuinely, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like he could go to somewhere like Tottenham. But obviously a lot more crucial sides are going to want him. Who I think will beat Tottenham to, like, the paperwork. I feel like Manchester United is the one. Newcastle, if they get top 4, could genuinely go for him.
A great sign.
It'd be an incredible signing for them. Him and, like, Bruno, is it Guimaraes?
Yeah.
Oh my god, could you imagine them 2 in the midfield? They'd be incredible. I do like that Bruno, even though I can't pronounce his name. He's a very good player. And I do think if Newcastle wanted to go to Ruben Neves to kind of match that, yeah, they'd be getting some player on the hands for sure. But there's quite a few really good players in the relegation zone at the moment.
Well, I'll speak about one, and he does play for Wolves as well. Jimenez, what the hell's happened to him?
He's not scored a goal this season.
Ever since he had that head injury.
Is he
injured?
Like
mentally.
Is he injured now?
No.
Is he not?
It's like mentally. He's just lost something, and I hope that's not the case, because it'd be extremely sad, because I remember when he was an absolute baller. But ever since that head injury he had, he's never been the same. No one can argue he's not been the same.
I feel like a lot of players go through that though. They suffer just like, I remember Andre Gomez, solid player before he had a horrific injury to his leg, and then he came back and was just never the same player. It just happens a lot of the times. It's like it ruins careers as well, doesn't it? Like Jack Wilshere's the main one. He could have been something special and just got injured all the time. But yeah, I feel like with signings as well, it's like Southampton with James Ward-Prowse. If they go down, is he going to go? Where's he going to go? I only see him staying in the Premiership. Just don't know where.
I agree.
Could definitely see him playing for a team like Leicester, Villa, something on those lines. Maybe Brighton.
It'd be a good signing.
Brighton could go for him, something like that. Or Fulham, because obviously if those sides stay consistent, they'll finish in respectable positions and obviously attract better players, basically.
Anyway, moving on to 16th, to a team which finished in Europe.
Was it last year? 7th? Yeah, 7th, yeah.
And,
they're in the Conference League now.
Yeah, for a team that finished 7th, from 7th to 16th. What the hell's going on at West Ham?
No clue. And they've lost more games than Everton, Wolves, Bournemouth, and is it Southampton as well? I'd have to check. No, Southampton have lost more, but by that, yeah, they've nearly lost the second amount of games this season. So to be fair, it's not looking good for them. But they've got the quality.
They do.
They do.
They have the fans. They have a big stadium, and I know that doesn't really go much far for you. However, atmosphere-wise, like what Goodison Park was towards the last season, even when Everton weren't good, their fans were loud and they made a game out of it. And West Ham can do that. And obviously, like we said, they do have quality players.
They've got the best players.
Declan Rice,
probably
Bowen,
the majority.
Antonio when he's on form. And they have a very good manager as well. I rate David Moyes.
Yeah.
And I think they can get out of it.
Probably not at the moment, but yeah, these.
No, what I think, and it's got nothing to do with David Moyes.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with David Moyes. What it has to do with is last season they had the biggest high ever, and it's probably worn them out.
Yeah.
Worn them
still on a massive hangover.
Because they were in Europa League Thursday to Sunday. That is grueling. That is honestly grueling. That's why I think Newcastle will get top 4 this season. Because they've got no Europe. It's just Premier League.
I think they'll survive. I think they'll stay up.
West Ham will survive. They're not good enough.
I do want to quickly, because obviously I imagine we'll talk about the next 2 teams, take a jump to 10th.
Yes.
Because I feel like those teams in the between are fine.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then, but I just want to say...
To be fair, we won't sorry to interrupt, but we're going to speak about Leeds. Leeds, I think, are where they should be. I don't think they should be any higher.
I think Leeds will stay up this season, but I think it's inevitable that in the next season or 2 they're gone.
Yeah,
because they're flirting with relegation so much now. It's ridiculous. Leicester, I think they'll be fine. Again, similar to West Ham, they've just got quality players. Yuri Tielemans, he'll go in the summer, but he's absolutely world class.
His volleying, I don't know who showed him. It is consistent and it's scary.
Yeah.
It's like when Ruben Neves gets into the box. In my head, I'm there like, someone snap him now.
Stop him,
before he shoots.
Harvey Barnes, I rate him.
Jamie Vardy.
He's not been playing much.
He's the biggest shithouse ever, but it's kind of sad. You know.
That he's not really playing.
No, that he's not really scoring.
Oh yeah, I don't really
because the prime 2016 was Vardy.
Because it's quicker the football world's moving as well now. 3 seasons ago, I remember when Leicester finished 5th and Vardy was just absolutely on fire. I think he won a Golden Boot in one of those seasons. Might be wrong, but I think he won it.
He smashed that Ruud van Nistelrooy record.
Yeah, that was 20. Did he win it No, I don't think he won it that season. I think that was Harry Kane.
No, that was the season they won the Premier League.
No, I mean, did Jamie Vardy win the Golden Boot that season?
Won the Golden Boot.
I think Jamie Vardy won the Golden Boot in 2019-20 season. Or the one after that. I know it was one of the seasons where Leicester finished 5th because I'm 99% sure he got one there. But I just don't see them going down. Not at all.
Yeah, Harry Kane that season, 29 goals that season, 29 goals in 30 games. Harry Kane was on fire that season. No, pardon me. That is the season. That's the season after it when Chelsea won the league.
Oh yeah.
Either way, it's we can always give Harry Kane his credit because he's amazing. Yeah, he is consistent.
No, he's world class. We'll speak about him a bit more later.
But yeah, Leicester, they should be fine. However, they're not doing good. But either way, we were still right. Harry Kane won it, but he scored 25 goals. It's the only difference.
So if we're jumping up.
Yeah. First off, just as we jump up, we will only very, very, very briefly talk about the little teams in the middle. So Nottingham Forest, they are smashing it. They're in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Don't get me wrong, they're probably out now.
They are.
However, fair play.
Yeah, they've made it far.
They've beaten Chelsea. They've beaten Liverpool at home, both. They beat Spurs as well.
Did they beat Chelsea?
No, they drew to them 1-1.
They drew to them, yeah.
They beat Liverpool at home. They beat Spurs at home. And you know what?
Spurs was in the cup, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. Spurs was in the cup. However, I thought big time that they were going down straight away, but they are smashing it.
I think everyone did.
Full credit to them, and their atmosphere is second to none.
Steve Cooper's army marching on.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say about Nottingham Forest?
Not majorly, no. I don't feel like they're a side that have like done loads this season, but have also done a lot. If that makes sense.
I agree.
It's like such a mixed bag.
So they have no pressure on them,
Yeah.
however, so anything they do is good.
Yeah, of course.
So well done to Nottingham Forest. Credit to them. Palace and Aston Villa, in my opinion, they're where they should be.
They've just had very average seasons, haven't they?
Yes, they've been consistent to where Palace is a 12th team.
Yeah.
It's a
that's where you stay.
A mid-table team. And
Palace and Villa, yeah, they're doing fine. Aston Villa are just not where they want to be, like from their fans' perspective, I think.
I agree, however, they are picking up points in the last 5 games.
They won at Spurs, didn't they? They beat Tottenham.
Yeah, last 5 games, they've lost 1, drawn 1, won 3, and they've won the last 2 in a row. They've won defeated in the past 4 games.
They were the last team to beat Man United, weren't they, as well?
Yes, it's correct. No, Arsenal.
Oh, Arsenal. Oh, yeah, I forgot about. That was only like the other week, wasn't it?
Good, thanks for that. We'll bring that up soon. But jump into 10th.
Oh, this is an interesting one, isn't it?
This is very interesting. We'll start off at the beginning of the season. Thomas Tuchel was in charge. Did he deserve to be sacked?
No.
I think they made the biggest mistake in sacking him.
I don't understand what game or what match happened where they were like, get him out. Why?
Throw him in the bin.
I don't understand it at all. Any manager that wins Champions League, European club, European heritage, it's like, does not deserve a sacking in my opinion.
However,
not that soon.
It screams a history though. The amount of managers that have won Champions League, Premier League, Jose Mourinho,
but
that defence, and
the manager that they brought in with Graham Potter, I don't think he's done anything better. He's done worse. He has
done worse. No offence to him. However, that club is a shithole.
Yeah.
It is. Excuse my language.
It's a shit show.
Yeah, it is a shit show.
Graham Potter needs time, don't get me wrong.
Yes,
I think he's a very good manager, he just needs time at Chelsea. But everything to do with the new ownership of Chelsea is where it goes wrong.
Yes.
Because it feels like that Mudryk... I don't understand the purpose of them trying to sign that player, and I feel like a lot of Chelsea fans are the same. They didn't want him. It was just like their owners saw Arsenal were pretty much gonna sign him, and then they thought, oh no, we'll get him instead, just to kind of give us a more an advantage. And to be fair to Mudryk, looked really, really good on his debut looked really good at Anfield. I think that was his debut game.
Correct.
Yeah, brilliant. They got Felix, who got sent off on his bloody debut at Fulham.
He looked good.
He did look good,
but the game and he got sent off.
Yeah, of course it was. But those signings, they're good signings, but the likes of Mudryk, I just don't see why Chelsea needed. And now they're signing quite a few more players as well. But where Chelsea are at the moment, I just think...
I was just going to say...
It's where they deserve to be at the moment. You know what I mean? It just is. They're out there for a reason.
Chelsea in 10th position is a disgrace. It is.
For the standards of their club, but I do feel like they're just going back to their usual selves. Before Roman came in, they're just entering that kind of slot again, where I just feel like they're going to dip that.
We briefly spoke about Everton, how much they spent in the past 5 years. Chelsea have spent the same amount as Everton.
In 6 months.
In 6 months.
Yeah.
Are you serious? They are, and they're throwing money at anyone. Mate, I might as well be the sporting director, and I might as well go on career mode. Right, who's got potential here?
The Panini sticker book.
Yeah, legit. And he is clueless. The owner made himself the sporting director.
Yeah.
When he doesn't know anything about football.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so he made himself the sporting director. That's why he's doing all the signings.
I think
it's crazy, and they deserve to be where they're at because of how they've treated managers. In my opinion, they've not treated them well. They've not given them enough time. Obviously, they've given them money, but they've not given them time.
I don't know. I feel like with a lot of managers under the previous ownership, like Roman Abramovich, even though you'd assume, like I remember when Mourinho got sacked that season where they were really struggling and a lot of Chelsea fans were outraged, but he brought in Antonio Conte, who obviously then won the title, brings in Maurizio Sarri after him, doesn't do too bad in my opinion, and then Frank Lampard comes in, which Chelsea fans are obviously pleased with, and then he brings Thomas Tuchel in and wins them a Champions League. So every manager Roman Abramovich has brought in, they always do something right. He's got a football mindset, basically. While I don't see these new owners at all having that good footballing mindset that you need to bring in a new coach, I feel like they looked at Graham Potter and just thought, he does well with Brighton. And don't get me wrong, he's a good coach, but I don't think he's Chelsea Football Club levels yet. And it's proven it at the moment. And if he gets sacked, what was the point? Who are they going to bring in to replace them? I just feel like the owners are trying to copy that formula that Roman Abramovich inherited into them, and they're just failing at it miserably.
I agree. I don't think that they've got no chance of getting top 4 in my opinion.
No,
they're 10 points off it. However, the teams in the top 4 are looking good.
Yeah,
they're
really
looking
good.
consistent. They're looking solid, and they've got good managers behind them.
I feel like the entire top 10 is really exciting to talk about.
It really is a big topic. That's why we've been able to leave it. But with Chelsea, just leaving it as that. 10th position isn't good enough for them at all. However, it's part of what their club deserves, in my opinion, for how they've treated managers, for how they've spent money just aimlessly, just for fun.
It's worked well for them,
However,
to be fair. And every club, I guess, does it in the modern day and age now. They kind of sparked that whole ridiculous price cap for players and stuff of spending so much money. But at the end of the day, it is what it is in football now, isn't it? It's just money goes out the window on so many players. But yeah, going on to the next team, which is Liverpool. This one's hilarious.
Which I never saw coming. I have nowhere near as bad as this.
I don't think anyone did. No one could have pictured Liverpool dropping this far, except Liverpool fans, in my opinion, because they have more knowledge on like FSG and stuff like that with their ownership. And I feel like that is the main problem. But again, I do feel like, because I was saying this to a couple of the football friends that we have, and just about like Jurgen Klopp and how safe he actually is, because I think it's got to reach a point where you can't keep blaming the ownership and the players, because at the end of the day, Jurgen Klopp does have a responsibility to take, especially with some of his team selections. Recently, they're obviously out the FA Cup now as well. They've conceded 5 goals to Brighton in like a week or 2 or something like that. And then they're getting thumped 3-1 by Brentford. Obviously beat Leicester by 2 own goals, and the defending for the first goal was just outrageously bad. Obviously, and then got a 0-0 draw against Chelsea. Respectively, I do think they should have lost that game as well. Didn't really have any clean-cut chances compared to Chelsea, in my opinion, but yeah, they're just...
There is a lot of problems with Chelsea. Liverpool.
Liverpool, yeah.
I'm just going from the top to the bottom. Trent, he's a liability.
Yeah, he's
absolutely
poor.
a liability.
Yeah.
The second I saw him, I was there like, why isn't he a midfielder? Why is he a defender?
A winger. You should have been a winger.
I think he should be a midfielder. Just kind of a right centre mid. You know where De Bruyne plays? He plays on the shoulder, not on the shoulder, of the other centre mid of the opposition, and whips the ball in. He does it perfectly. However, he can't defend. The liability. All the teams now go right. Let's go round Trent's. Let's go down Trent's side, because he is shocking at defending. Shocking.
There's so many poor performances that you can highlight this season, and a lot of like Liverpool goals that they've conceded as well just came from mistakes. Like, they've done it so often now, it's a joke.
Every time Liverpool play, I think they will lose.
Yeah.
I saw them playing Brighton in the first half with my granddad, and I was like, they will lose this.
Yeah.
Trust me. Because I just don't trust Liverpool anymore. Not that I want to. However, I can look at a Liverpool team or a game, and I'm there like, you know what, they'll struggle there.
But it's like, they've beat Man City this season, which is just like crazy to me, considering the situation on both sides. Right? Yeah, of course. They still, to be fair to them, they still have that Anfield fortress. Like,
and it's the thing.
Leeds are the only ones who punctured it, like, to beat them at home. So, losing one game at home.
However, the other 3 topics, or maybe 4, I want to speak about Liverpool. Losing Mane.
Oh, it's the biggest. It's one of like the biggest It's one of the biggest losses they ever could have suffered, in my opinion. I don't think the replacements are bad, but I don't think they're anywhere near as consistent or good as him.
You don't know how good it was until it's over.
Until it's gone.
Until it's gone. And that's what Klopp realised. He knew it, however, big time he realised it now.
I'm kind of gutted as well. I never thought I'd say it, but like, I'm gutted that Mane's not in the Premiership anymore, because I used to really enjoy watching him. I thought he was the best out of that trio. Even when Salah was in his prime, just loved watching Sadio Mane play football. So good at it. Mo Salah, we can speak about him in his own subject, but yeah, I do feel like when you sell a player of Sadio Mane's level, you're gonna suffer. You're gonna fall from it a bit. And yeah, it punctures them all, and they're not bringing anyone in that's anywhere near as good, in my opinion. Darwin Núñez hasn't added anything, and I rate Luis Diaz. I think he's a good player, but again, I'd rather Sadio Mane over him.
Darwin Núñez, I'll give him it. He's quick, and he may be skillful. However, he can't finish to save his life. And people are going, "Oh no, wait until he can finish, and then he's golden."
Yeah.
And I'm now like, I don't know. I don't believe it, because all these Liverpool fans are going, "Hey, get behind Darwin Núñez, this, that, and the other." Then they bring in Cody Gakpo, and then they just switch.
Yeah.
They go, "Oh, Cody Gakpo's in," and they kind of push Núñez to a side, kind of showing that that Núñez was, that people were right. That Núñez, fair enough, he can be a good player. However, he's too rash.
Yeah.
He's too rash. He panics in front of goal.
I think give Núñez time. I think he'll be a quality player.
Same,
I really
do. Agree. I do agree.
I do think he'll get there. Which kind of pains me to say. Gakpo, I don't even know what to expect. He's one of those players where if it wasn't a Liverpool signing, I wouldn't even know who he was. Like, I'm like that with football. I focus on the Premier League and I don't focus on like outer players. I don't play FIFA anymore, so I don't even know who's like highly rated in their perspectives.
I previously have heard of Gakpo before the World Cup, because Man United were interested in him, because Ruud van Nistelrooy was the PSV manager.
Oh yeah.
And he was speaking about Gakpo and his and how he would fit Man United, and he had an insane goal record. I'll see if I can get it up for you now. For PSV, I believe in like 20 games he has scored 16 goals and assisted 10.
Do you think he'll do well at Liverpool?
Yes, yeah. I think Gakpo has more of a chance of doing that than... Yeah, here it is. In 14 matches this season before joining Liverpool, he played 14 matches, scored 9, assisted 12.
Okay.
So they're very good stats.
Of course.
I'm not going to be the one to go, "Oh, that's Eredivisie," because half the United squad's fucking from there.
I don't feel like the league determines the player.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. So I think Cody Gakpo is a good signing, and I wouldn't be worried if I was a Liverpool fan.
No, don't get me wrong. I don't know if they're even going to reach Europe. Well, I think they will get in a European spot. But if it's anywhere, I think it'll be the Europa League or the Conference League.
Liverpool will get Europa League. I don't see them getting top 4.
No chance.
For the last topic about Liverpool, injuries. Their squad has been run down.
Yeah.
Credit to Klopp, he's done stuff that I wouldn't even imagine as Liverpool would do in that space of time. I never saw it coming. However, they have ran them down to the core. They've always had injury problems, Liverpool. Always.
Yeah.
And it's always hit him like a truck.
They got Van Dijk injured recently, didn't they?
They've always hit him like a truck, and that's their main problem. Don't get me wrong, Liverpool fans fall on the excuse of, this is why we're shit. And you know what? I can agree with them on that. However, there is it's not coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Klopp overruns the players, and he needs to tone the intensity down.
Yeah, of course.
If he wants to get top, because they're bringing in players, but they're getting fucking injured.
Yeah.
So
I feel like they're struggling as well with depth.
Yeah.
They don't have it. So if someone gets injured, they have to bring on a new youngster or just someone that isn't really that level of quality that they want. Canate, Oh my god, he's been really poor for
He's
them.
like Darwin Núñez in defence. I just think he's so rash.
And Joe Gomez as well. It's just
Joe Gomez shocking, Canate shocking, Trent shocking.
I think look at it. Last game against Chelsea, their back four starting the game anyway was like Joe Gomez, Canate, Robertson, and who was subbed on for, and Trent got took off for James Milner in the end, or I think James Milner was starting and Trent came on. Sorry.
Because,
so that back four of like Gomez, Canate, Milner, and Robertson, it's like it's not what you want from a Liverpool perspective at all. Then the midfield of like Thiago and Naby Keita and Stefan. I don't even know how to pronounce that. A youngster from Spain.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about him, to be fair. Naby Keita, though, I don't rate him.
Yeah, it was Liverpool stole Canate off United, so thankful they did. But ninth isn't good enough for him. I think they'll get Europa League football. However, they need to crack on with their injuries. They can't. He needs to turn down the intensity, in my own opinion, because they need to be up there again. And teams are going to start, like Newcastle, like Arsenal, like United, are going to start next season to really hit off.
I don't think anyone's afraid of Liverpool anymore.
No.
They don't fear them. They don't, like... People go to Anfield and they think to themselves, you know what, we can get something here. Leeds went there and just go at them. Give it your all and try your best. And you'll break them if you put pressure on them. It's been proven many a times. But again, it depends what Liverpool side actually show up as well, because that's a vital thing for them. I think they'll finish around 6th, 7th, something like that, and push into the Europa League or the Conference League. Signings as well in the summer will be huge for them.
I agree. But I think Klopp should keep his job for what he's done. I think you give him one more season and you see what he does.
I feel like you've
got to turn the table a bit.
The whole like comments of it's for what he's done. It works and it doesn't, because like if he's losing week in week out and we're just like, oh yeah, but he won the Champions League and the Premier League a few years ago, it's hard to just stick with that. Do you get what I mean? As much as respect that they have, and realistic as well, if they sack Jurgen Klopp, who are they going to bring in that's like as good or as can take them further? I don't know. I could see, I think Thomas Tuchel would do really well at Liverpool, and I could see him fitting in nicely. Not that we even need to discuss managers with Liverpool.
It's true, we don't.
It's just a thought process. And if FSG do leave and sell the club, and Jurgen Klopp gets the chance to spend, I think they'll go back to being their dominant selves. So
I agree, Paul. And as much as we talk about this, I do find it funny. I will say that.
It's hilarious.
I'm a United fan. Obviously, Cam's an Everton fan, so we do find it funny. However, we do have to take it seriously as well, and we have done it, I do feel. Moving on to 8th place, Brentford. I did not expect this.
I love Thomas Frank so much.
I love Thomas Frank. I love the fans. The atmosphere. It was like when Jamie Carragher, when Brentford beat Liverpool, and Jamie Carragher really wanted to join in just for celebrating, because the fans are amazing.
You love them, you can't not.
I would have thought from last season when they let go of Eriksen, this doesn't scream.
You know what though, with Brentford, they kind of remind me of Burnley or Stoke a few seasons ago. They just play football. They just work as a team, and just a solid side.
They beat. Let's start at the beginning of the season. They beat Man United 4-0.
First half.
I was watching that game.
I
was watching that game, and I was a lot of things.
I remember being in work, and I knew the game was on, but I obviously couldn't watch it. And one of the chefs is a Manchester United fan, and he came out and he was like, "Oh, we're getting beat." Oh no, sorry. He was like, "Oh, don't ask me the score." And I was like, "Oh, so you're getting beat like 1 or 2-0, I imagine." And he was like, "No, it's 4-0." And I was like, "Oh, is it finished?" He was like, "No, it's half time." And I was like, "What?" Like it. Oh my god, it's insane. But you've got to look at Brentford as well. They've beat Man United and Man City this season. Very impressive wins. That is impressive. Very impressive. They beat Brighton as well at home, which Brighton these days is very good. Liverpool 3-1, West Ham 2-0, got a draw with Tottenham as well.
They have smashed it.
Yeah, they've done really well against like the bigger sides. The drop in points where it's like they lost 4-0 to Aston Villa, 3-0 home to Arsenal, which is excusable.
That's expected.
But they've lost to Fulham, they've drew to Leicester and Everton, which is poor at the moment. But to be fair, I remember that Leicester game, they were 2-0 down, good fight back.
Yeah.
Everton were 1-0 up, fought back to get a draw. They beat Leeds 5-2 as well. So they're doing mixed.
They're having a very good
incredible season. They're doing very well. Thomas Frank's he's a man that you just struggle not to love. They've only lost 4 games as well, which is 1 more than City and 1 less than Man United. So that's quite impressive on their behalf as well.
It is very good.
Yeah.
And fair play to Brentford.
You can't not love them. They remind me of remember when Blackpool were in the Premier League? And everyone just loved them because it was Blackpool. That's it. We just love them because it's like a League One side doing so well. Let's say Brentford are anywhere near that level of quality,
but they are such.
You love to see it.
Yeah, I do. I remember you saying just then. They remind you of Burnley. They are such a tall, physical, and aggressive team. They're just fun, and they're fun to watch.
But Burnley and Stoke, that's what they remind me of. But they're a bit more, like you say, fun to watch.
Yeah.
They're one of those sides that a lot of people thought were going to go down because second season syndrome. I'm starting to not believe that anymore, purely because second season syndrome's weird, where a lot of people just say it because it's so common.
Yes.
But when we look at it in the past, it's like a lot of people say it with Huddersfield and stuff, but Huddersfield never climbed to the heights that Brentford or Fulham this season are doing. Sheffield United, alright, I'll let them off. They finished 9th and then got demolished in their second season.
They got ran down.
So I'll give them that, but everyone else, I feel like they're fine. I feel like Brentford, if they're ever to go down, well, they will eventually. If they're to go down, won't be for another 3, 4, 5 years. I'm confident they'll be in the Premier League for a good set of years for now anyway. I just hope this comment doesn't come back to haunt me and within the season they're gone.
I don't think they'll get Europe. However, wow.
They built a stadium.
Credit to them.
The new stadium they built for the Premier League, they're here to stay. You know what I mean? They want to stay here for a good while, and I think they will. It's onwards and upwards for that club though. Even next season, I think they're going to go higher. I think they'll do bits. And
really?
Yeah, of course. There's only one way to go for them, and it's up at the moment, in my opinion. Which also conveniently ties into the next position, which is 7th placed Fulham.
I thought the biggest yo-yo club.
The biggest surprise that we've had in a good while, it feels. I never thought this coming.
But maybe it was about time, because I remember, and I said just then, they're a very big yo-yo club. What I mean by that, if it's out of context, is they were constantly getting promoted, getting relegated,
just up and down,
getting promoted, getting relegated, like Norwich do now.
Yeah.
However, and there was a few seasons ago, I remember when they came up and they spent big.
Oh yeah, they spent 150 million.
And I was there here we go.
And then
they got Fabrizio Romano.
They got that Seri, who Bayern wanted at the time. That Schürrle from Dortmund.
Yes.
He did alright for them, but I think he got injured.
Obviously Mitrovic.
But I feel like their players just needed to dip the toes in the water of the Premier League. Say it wasn't for them until they were ready. Kind of what you're referring to, and then now they've came into this season and they're properly ready for it now.
They're currently 7th. They've won 9 out of 21, drawn 4 and lost 8. And they're 7th. And they're doing very well. They're on 31 points.
Yeah.
They are 2 points ahead of Liverpool, 1 point ahead of Brentford. They are on the same level as Brighton, so they could be 6th.
Yeah.
And they're only they're about 8 points. They're 8 points off top 4. That's incredible. Incredible.
I think they're very they're an odd side, because especially at the start of the season they were doing that typical thing where they'd either win or they'd just get battered. Do you know what I mean? It was they were winning a good few games and then they got beat 4-1 by Newcastle, 3-1 by West Ham, and then they just went on a consistent run. And then recently they won 4 games on the bounce, which was 3-0 against Crystal Palace, 2-1 against Southampton, 1-0 away at Leicester, and then 2-1 at home to Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Lost to Newcastle, but they missed the penalty, which
I watched that game.
I don't understand the penalty rule, if I'm being honest.
But it's harsh.
I don't understand how, as a reward, if you slip, it counts as cheating because it's kind of fought off the goalkeeper. Do you get what I mean? I don't understand that, to me anyway. I get it is a disadvantage, but you look at the situation before, and Nick Pope was just stamping on the spot and no one's no one's going to punish him for that. So I don't know, I feel like they were harshly treated in that game. Either way though, they're doing incredibly well. Do you think they'll make Europe?
No.
No.
Marcus Silva's doing brilliant. He's doing a very good job, and he's got him in a very good position. And Mitrovic is doing very well as well. Mitrovic is flying. However, saying that, he obviously did miss a penalty against Newcastle, but that happens.
I do want to say this though. Next season with Fulham, I think let's say I think they'll finish about 9th this season. Let's say obviously they'll be in the Premier League next year. We might actually see them play Norwich for once as well, which is exciting.
That is mental.
But all I'm saying is, I think with Fulham next season, when it comes to predicting where they'll finish, they're either going to have another insane season, or they're not necessarily going to get relegated, but they're going to drop hard. I feel like it's going to be one of two ways. But I love Fulham. I hope they stay up. I hope they do really well. Couldn't really care for Marco Silva. He does have that typical thing where he has one really good season and then he struggles in the next. So I'm very interested to see how he'll do when it comes to his not his actual second season, but second season in the Premier League with the team. See, if he keeps them consistent, then fair play. Fulham are back kind of where they were in the early 2000s, and I like seeing it again. So, yeah, there you go.
Well, I think that's all we can say about Fulham. Fair play to them, and they've beaten some good teams. They've beaten Chelsea.
Leeds away.
Yeah, Leeds away.
It's always a tough one.
Leicester
away.
And United had to score last minute against them.
Exactly.
I remember that goal. Crazy. Fair play to Fulham. I don't think they'll get Europa League football, but fair play to them. Yeah. Following up after that in 6th place is Brighton.
Another fan favourite. Everyone loves a bit of Brighton.
They are class.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
Class is just the perfect word for Brighton.
From where they've came from is incredible. Like, it's insane.
They lost Bissouma.
Yeah.
They've lost now Trossard.
Which is a big blow.
However, and they lost Graham Potter.
Yeah. But somehow just did better.
And then they somehow did better.
One of my favourite games of this season is when they lost Graham Potter and they played Chelsea and Brighton just beat them like 4, I think it was 4-0, 4-1, battered them off the park.
Smoked them.
Absolutely. And it's games like that where I just love to see that. Brighton's done incredibly well. They scored 4 at Goodison Park. That's the first time in the Premier League that they've scored 4 goals away from home as well, which is just mental. Of course, it's an Everton, L on the other side, but fair play to them.
They're the only team to have beaten Man United at Old Trafford this season.
Yeah, I love, is it that Batoma?
Yes.
The Japanese winger?
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's such a delight to watch. He
scored last minute.
The goal against Liverpool was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Trossard I was a really big fan of as well. Love him. I don't actually know. Who have they got up top? Danny Welbeck and
Danny
someone
Welbeck.
Yeah.
Danny Welbeck has been smashing it. McAllister, World Cup winner.
Class. Really good player. They're just a solid team all around. Kind of like Brentford. I feel like everyone just likes them.
Well, they're only a point between. They're a point between Brighton, Fulham and Brentford.
Brighton have 2 games in hand on Spurs, and if they win them both, they'll go above them on 37 points, 2 behind United. They've also got a game on hand on United as well, so they could really get a good gain on the top 4.
United would have a game in hand, sorry.
Yeah. I don't think Brighton... I don't know if they'll get into Europe. I feel like they might get 7th. Because, I feel like it's harsh though, because I feel like when we speak about Liverpool, we just expect them to get into the Europa League because it's Liverpool.
That is the damning thing.
Yeah, but I can definitely see Brighton finishing 6th or 7th.
I can see Brighton finishing 7th.
Yeah.
Out of them 3, Brighton, Fulham, Brentford, I see Brighton doing the best.
Yeah, of course.
But fair play to Brighton. They have absolutely smashed this as well.
It's mad because they've been in the Premier League for so long. I remember when they were promoted, and I was like, these will be here for a season and they'll go. Been here for 6 years?
Remember, they came with Huddersfield.
Yeah, that's how long ago it was.
Oh my god.
Isn't that crazy?
That
is mental. And they've been here ever since. And there were so many seasons where I was thinking they're going to get relegated. And then I think last season was the first time where they just were really good.
Yeah.
They were just played well. And now all they're doing is growing. And fair play to them because the Premier League's not an easy place to stay.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I agree. So fair play, Brighton. Absolutely smashed it. Moving on to the team which reminds me of United last season. I felt like they lost every week.
The most frustrating side to like probably watch if you're a fan.
Yeah.
By far.
It feels like they lose every week and they're in top 4 or they're near it. And that's Tottenham Hotspur in 5th place. They're on 36 points. They've won 11, drawn 3, and lost 7.
Odd side.
Out of 21. And like, look at their path form. Their last 5 games, they've lost 1, lost 1. It's so all over the place, and it feels like the same with their manager. Antonio Conte feels so in, so out.
I think
he's like, I want to stay, I want to leave, I want to stay again, I want to leave again. I don't like the
feel like there's a big downfall with players as well. Like, Son's not at it. And like, because I remember Sky Sports pundits were talking about he scored 4 goals, but he didn't acknowledge that he scored a hat-trick against Leicester. So that's 3 of them just in a game. And I don't even know the other time he scored a goal this season. They've been so odd where they've played sides that you think would beat them, and they've beat them. And then Spurs have beat the sides that you would have expected them to get beaten by, and then they've just lost to teams that, like, they realistically shouldn't be losing to. Aston Villa at home, it's like, it's just such a random game to lose.
Yeah.
Newcastle at home as well was really the sign that, like, Newcastle were properly steadying themselves up. And I think that's their biggest issue. They either win or lose. They've drawn like 3 games this season, and then they're just getting beat by everyone else or winning. I don't think Tottenham are having as bad as a season as they're making it out to be. They expect a lot more, which I can kind of understand because of obviously years ago when they were finishing 2nd and fighting for the top 4. But now, like, I don't know. I feel like they're very harsh on what they get, and it's more Levy that is like.
They are pissed off because of 2 things. They are pissed off because of how good Arsenal are doing.
Yeah.
If someone told a Spurs fan, right, halfway through the season, you're only 3 points off top 4, you'd be like, okay, that's fine. In my opinion, they shouldn't expect higher. They shouldn't expect lower. It's probably
because of the leap Arsenal have had. Like, if you looked at Arsenal 3 seasons ago compared to where Tottenham were, you'd think Tottenham were going to be going places Arsenal couldn't imagine.
This is the first time Arsenal finished higher than Spurs.
Yeah, in 7, 8 years, something like
Since
that.
Arsene
It might be now. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what the problem is with it, Spurs. I don't get to watch them that much. I don't like to watch them, which might be saying a lot as a neutral, especially.
Of course.
Because if I don't like to watch them, I can't imagine what the fans feel like.
And you're an Everton fan.
Exactly. So it tells you. I feel like that is why I feel like Tottenham are obviously treating the team a bit harshly because I'm an Evertonian. So I see my team in 19th and the team that complains. But it's expectations at the end of the day. I think Tottenham, for me, are where they're at, where they should be at.
I agree.
5th in the Premier League, that's fine. They get Europa League, do well in that competition and try and get to some sort of trophy in a tournament that they can win.
Well, they're still in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
They beat, who was it? Preston. They beat Preston 3-0. So they've advanced in the FA Cup.
They won't win it.
Yeah. They're in the Champions League. They're playing AC Milan, which is a tasty game.
It's a very juicy game.
And you know what? I agree. They are where they should be. It's just the manager is controversial.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And the players they've signed, they're not playing. Basuma should be playing, isn't. Richarlison, in my opinion, should be playing more. Isn't playing.
I feel like Richarlison should be playing with how poor Son has been. It's as if Conte just expects Son to snap and just work again, which I feel like his issues at the moment are more to do with mental health, which isn't going to be something that's just going to sort itself out drastically. So, yeah, Tottenham are just in a weird spell at the moment.
However, sorry to briefly interrupt.
Oh, go on.
We've had a bit of news.
Ooh.
Talking about Chelsea
Live
and their spending. They have just made an official bid for Enzo Fernandez for Benfica for £105 million.
Wow. Mind blowing. Where's he play? What position is he?
Centre mid. Enzo Fernandez from Benfica. He won the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
105 million.
Wow.
It is stupid. We're not going to briefly speak about it because we've already spoke about how how smart Chelsea
I feel like that's why they're trying to get high prices. When I saw like 45 million for Conor Gallagher, I'm thinking why, and then I think to myself, well, they need the money. Like they need to be making some sort of profit.
Yes. For financial fair play.
Yeah, of course, but like, oh my god, it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
But yeah, so breaking news, Sky Sports News.
I know, yeah, reporting.
But I agree, Spurs are where they should be. And moving on to my club.
Yeah.
Good old Manchester United. We sit in fourth.
I feel like after your first 2 games of the season, if someone told you you'd be fourth at this point, you'd love it.
I would snap their hand off. I wanted Eric Ten Hag coming in the summer. I didn't want Poch. I didn't want anyone else. I had full faith in Eric Ten Hag because I saw how stubborn he was.
Yeah.
He didn't give a rat's arse. And I knew he'd make the changes that he would need.
Yeah.
He came in, we lost to Brighton, and we lost to Brentford. And it was a terrible, terrible start, and he was learning on the job. And I don't think he's made a really bad mistake since.
No.
He's brought in what's his first name? Lisandro Martinez.
Oh yeah, you think it's always so confusing to get Martinez and Martinez confused, isn't it?
I love the guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, Martinez, Casemiro, Eriksen, Anthony, and we just recently signed Weghorst as well, which I'm very happy with.
The fidget spinner.
Oh mate, we have the £100 million fidget spinner in Anthony. We'll briefly talk about them. Well,
every fidget spinner.
Yeah, we'll speak about all of them.
I think Man United have had one of like the biggest transitions I've seen them have in a long time, and certain players have definitely stepped up to like the occasion. Marcus Rashford is like the best I've seen him in a long time, and even hearing things like Martial and stuff is odd. As he's been
injured,
has he been injured? Yeah,
he is so injury prone. That's why we brought in Weghorst.
But he was doing alright, wasn't he? Before
pre-season, he was doing good.
Yeah.
However, this season he's a bit like Jadon Sancho. He just hasn't hit.
Who's the new young lad? Garnacho.
Garnacho.
He's been really good for us.
He's just come on the pitch and energised.
He's just done what he should do, isn't he?
Honestly,
youngster.
There's not a thing I love seeing more than when you beat a team and it's convincing.
Yeah.
It's just, you know the game plan, you know how to win, and you expect, whenever Bournemouth come to Old Trafford, I'm there like, right, win, that's fine. Now, a few years ago, I was there like,
it could be.
I was not that convinced.
Yeah.
But Eric Ten Hag has learned from his first 2 games. He learned from the derby.
Yeah, 100%.
Home form is brilliant. Beat Spurs, beat Arsenal, beat Liverpool, beat City.
Only team to beat Arsenal, aren't they?
Yeah, we're the only team to have beaten Arsenal. We fell off the past 2 games. We lost last minute to Arsenal. We were the only team who went to the Emirates and went, right, we don't care who you are. We're coming for you. And we got 50-50. We got 50% possession in their first half. Second half, they turned it up a gear, and that's why Arsenal were first. However, they had to score last minute against us to get it.
I think you and Newcastle are the only teams to go there and be like, yeah, we can do something.
Yeah, to be fair, Newcastle went there and sat back.
Newcastle just more.
We were there like, right, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
The same as Arsenal. That's why it's such a good game. But obviously Martinez scored. I can't express how much I love him.
So
he's the butcher. He's the butcher of Manchester. He's Argentina.
So do you think United will get top 4?
Yes.
I do too. Yeah.
I think we'll get top 4. I don't think it'll be as convincing as we're thinking because of injuries. I think injuries will push us.
To me personally, I think the top 4's done.
You think it is?
Not in the order it is now, but it's done. Like,
it's
teams
done.
in there, in my opinion, are going to finish in there. I love seeing Man United where they're at right now. Absolutely love it. I think they're doing so well, and they're just a team on the up. I love the game against Arsenal. It just felt like the 90s, how it should be, with those 2 sides. And yeah, I'm really happy, and I just think you're on your way up. Simple as that. That's it.
I think this. Do you want me to tell you that is the biggest thing that fails me in the Premier League?
Yeah.
When I see a team nearly do it.
Yeah, of course.
And they're like, shit.
Yeah.
Next season.
Oh yeah, they could be. Yeah.
They're going to be there. Remember when Liverpool almost won the league in City?
And then next season they were just a
shit.
monster. Yeah,
They were a monster. I feel United could be that. Same with Arsenal, same with Newcastle.
Yeah.
That's why even next season will be even better. But
well, speaking of Newcastle, are we ready to get into them?
No.
No? You want to stay with Manchester United
United
forever?
fan. Let me have my glory. I just want to speak about one more player. Or two more players.
One more
sorry.
player to give up to.
Two more players who you've mentioned, however, I have Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, he's class.
The season he had last season was so disappointing.
Yeah.
So disappointing.
It's like the biggest underdog story, isn't it? Coming
However,
back from
this
the ruins.
season he has been, and it's part of Eric Ten Hag. Eric Ten Hag has turned him into a demigod.
Yeah.
He is insane. He's just going left, right, and centre. The goal is good against Arsenal.
Did he score like 9? Has he scored like 9 home?
Yeah, so he
goals in a
almost
row
broke
or
the
something
record,
like
the
that?
all-time record for scoring the most consecutive.
Yeah.
He scored, but was offside against Reading, so he was going to score 10 in 10 at Old Trafford in a row.
That is insane.
But it was offside, sadly.
Yeah.
And Casemiro,
Oh, Lord have mercy. He's an incredible football player.
he is the glue to Man United.
Yeah.
If he gets injured, we're probably not getting top 4.
Yeah, game over.
Yeah, McTominay and Fred going in there for Casemiro. Haha, good one.
It's a big change, yeah.
It's not happening. So, and Eric Ten Hag, gotta love him. But swiftly, moving on. I think United will get top 4. I think we'll get 3rd. Moving on to a team that's actually in 3rd place, who are joint on points with United, who are 3rd. That is Newcastle.
Newcastle United, yeah.
Wow.
I'm stunned by this team's just leap. Like when Newcastle fans were speaking about, oh, we'll win a trophy or we'll get the top 4 in the next few years, I was thinking, no. Like, yeah. I thought it would take them. I thought it would take them like 6 to 10 years to make that kind of leap. Because obviously with the Premier League recently, the jump to the top 4 is so hard to get into, so hard. But Newcastle just took advantage of Liverpool's fall, Chelsea's fall, and they're doing it as they should. They've lost a game, 1 game out of 20. That is ridiculous for their standards. And that was, again, I say all the time, it's a 97th minute winner for Liverpool. You know what I mean? It's like, true. If you could have reduced certain tackles or certain moments that could have downed the time, they'd still be unbeaten. It's like 10 wins, 10 draws they'd be on, but no, it's 10 wins, 9 draws. And just 1 loss. That's it. They're just an incredible side. 11 goals conceded for the entire season. To put that into perspective, Manchester United have conceded 25, Tottenham have conceded 31, Man City have conceded 20, and even the likes of Arsenal have still conceded more goals than Newcastle.
Arsenal have conceded 5 more goals than Newcastle, and Arsenal having their supreme season.
Exactly, it's just insane. They're such a good defensive unit. I think, was it that Stefan Botman hasn't conceded a goal since playing or something, or since signing, hasn't conceded a goal, which is just like ridiculous. Nick Pope is, well, I mean, realistically, is anyone else going to win the Golden Glove except him? Probably not.
Most of their players that are doing good, they didn't sign.
No. I'm not gonna. Almiron.
Almiron.
What's he say?
I used to call him Almiron.
What's he turned into?
Almiron turned to Almiron.
Absolutely. I love how Jack Grealish insulted him, and Almiron's turned into the player we all expected Jack Grealish to be, and Jack Grealish has just basically turned. It's like they've swapped.
Yeah.
It's like they've literally swapped mindsets, and they've just turned into the different player. Almiron's having an incredible season. I'm not going to lie though, I'm really not liking the Newcastle fan base.
Yeah.
They're just getting to me too much, to the point where, like, I feel like now that they've got all the money, they're like that person that's just won the lottery and like, oh, look at me, bragging about everything, they're winning games and running into people's faces, and you just sit there and you're like, okay. Because the annoying thing is about it as well, you can't say anything to them anymore. It's not like they're on a good run of form and they're going to be shit again. They're not. They're going to be good now, and that's it. And it's like, here we go, another one of these super unit football teams that's going to dominate the league at some point and just run us all over. Because that's the thing I'll give City fans. they're not really cocky. They don't really get in your face unless it's like Man United or Liverpool, which respectfully so is fine.
Yeah.
But Newcastle, it's like I saw them score against Southampton, and they're like running over to their fans and be like, yeah, and it's like they're 20th in the league. Leave them alone. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. I get it's football, but I just feel like they're getting way too carried away. But to be fair, they've been held back so much over the past decade. It's probably right for them to just go fucking riot when they win a football match.
Mike Ashley.
Yeah. Rio Ferdinand trying to defend them just to get another Sports Direct deal or something.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
It is very stupid that. But full props to Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe.
He's a phenomenal football.
He's
a phenomenal coach.
Fair play to him. And like I was speaking to us earlier, in the summer he went over to Madrid, and no one else but Diego Simeone took him under his wing. Took Eddie Howe under his wing for the summer, and this is the result of it. Consistency, defensive masterclasses every single week, and grabbing their most important goals that they need. And I think they will get top 4.
I think they'll get top 4 too. I think they'll come 4th.
Yeah.
Well, I think they'll get there. I don't know. This is the interesting question though. Like, I don't know if they're gonna lose another game. Like, as crazy as that sounds, I just don't know who's gonna beat them. I don't think Man United will. I'll be honest. I don't think. Maybe City at the Etihad could be a game they do lose. Arsenal.
St James.
Arsenal. I can see Arsenal getting beat. Genuinely, I can. More than them beating Newcastle. Sorry. And then you look at all the teams below. Is anyone gonna beat them? Like, I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. Obviously, it will happen. Like, it will happen. I think they'll lose about 3 to 4 matches by the end of the season.
Mark my words, I think they'll lose to a team you won't expect them to lose to.
Yeah, everyone does though. I hope it's Everton.
I hope it's Everton. I hope it's United.
Well, no, but I feel like that's more expected.
I know, but
they'll probably lose to someone like I don't know, like it'll either be because they drew to Bournemouth this year.
Yeah.
And I think that was at St James's Park. Isaac scored, who's a phenomenal football player. I just think he needs to kind of
find it a bit more.
Yeah, and Callum Wilson is so good to the point it's like, how can you drop him for Isaac?
It's true.
Even though I feel like both of them are on the same level as players and goal scorers. Isaac's just not being given the chance yet and hasn't settled into the Premier League like Callum Wilson has.
Yeah.
But it annoys me as well because Eddie Howe, like Everton, probably could have got so many times and decided against. Everyone said Mark Goldbridge was always like, "Oh, Everton next" before Man United, because Man United were obviously like, I don't think they wanted him at a point. I feel like they were all rumours, but when spoken about with Man United fans, they were always like, "Let him go to Everton, see how he does," or like another kind of mid-table club at the time, and then if he does well, yeah, join our ship, that's fine. And obviously he's went to Newcastle, proven what he can do with spending power, and well, they're looking incredible. So yeah, fair play to them.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to second place, who we never knew. To be fair, I always thought City would be first, but they are not. Manchester City are second in the Premier League. They are 5 points behind the leaders, Arsenal, and Arsenal have a game in hand. What has gone on at Man City?
I feel like it's a mix of things. But pinpointing those things, it's hard because they're kind of having a season where, like, do you remember when Liverpool won the league and they lost to Norwich? Yes. And that was the game where we were like, they're not the same. Yeah. There hasn't been that kind of game this season to me, bar maybe like the Brentford one, because every team that they've lost to, being United, Brentford, and I don't remember. Oh, and Liverpool are respectable. Like, you can get away with losing those games. Maybe not Brentford, but
United,
you can get away with it.
Yeah.
But they drew to like Everton, and that's poor. I can't actually remember their other draws, when being honest with you.
Haaland is a robot.
But they are struggling, and so Haaland's like unbelievable. And we'll get onto his own. We'll get onto his own little subject in a minute. But I don't know. I don't feel anything is going wrong though, because Arsenal are just having that good of a season. It kind of makes it out like City are having a bad one, but they're not. Like they're
yes,
not.
Yes, you know what? I do. I can't agree with you on that.
Because I don't feel like City have had like 14 wins out of 20, 3 draws, 3 losses. That's not bad. That's not bad at all for their standards. I do feel like the Tottenham game showing a lot of fight in them, and it shows what they can do. The booing at half-time was disgraceful. Yeah, the booing at half-time was just disgusting from that fan base. But no, that's a different story anyway, isn't it? But no, I feel like they're having a fine season. 53 goals. I mean, 25 of them already by heart. 25 goals in 20 games is just a joke. Absolute joke.
What's crazy as well, they scored 53 and 20.
Yeah. That's
That's
one, guys.
average. That's average. 2.5 goals a game.
Yeah, something stupid like that. But they are scoring it. I don't even know if anyone's kept the clean sheet against them. Or by Liverpool.
Yes, by Liverpool. Liverpool's in it.
I don't know. I can't think of any more. But did you know that like City this season haven't lost a game by like more than 1 goal? Mm-hmm. So they've not been beaten 2-0 or 3-1 or something like that. It's like little records like that are just insane. So when I look at teams who are at the top, which we'll get onto in a little bit, it just tells you the like unbelievable amount of talent that their team's got.
I have 2 topics to talk about with City. One, Haaland. He is.
Oh, he's lived up to the hype.
He's lived up to the hype.
He's everything and more than we expected. Literally.
Of course, he is insane.
The Ivan Drago of the Premier League, as we call him.
However, City have changed how they play.
Oh,
is that for the good or for the bad?
This question of is Haaland the problem is stupid. It's stupid.
Does it link back to is Ronaldo the problem in United?
Yeah,
is that the same
it's
thing?
stupid. Like it's such a poor claim. The Ronaldo thing, I was more like convinced it was an issue with Ollie's last few games. I don't think Ollie actually wanted him, and it messed up with his tactics. But overall, no, because Ronaldo, if it wasn't for Ronaldo last season, Man United would have finished even lower and lost to far worse teams. Haaland this season, again, like, if he didn't score a hat-trick against all these sides, Man United would have drew to them, Crystal Palace would have beaten them, Newcastle would have beaten them. They would have been way further down the table than they should have been. So to call Haaland the problem is just ridiculous, in my opinion. And he's a machine. The derby where United got beat 6-3, I don't think I've ever seen a better performance from an individual striker in my life.
That hurt.
Because I think he's already on the path to being better than the likes of Sergio Aguero. Because I think I think Aguero had everything except from like the midfielder aspect, where Haaland, however, can score, but he can just pass and create balls that are just incredible. The ball that he did through United's defence to Phil Foden was just unbelievable. And he's scoring hat-tricks for fun. I think he'll get more than 30 goals this season for sure.
Easily.
Yeah,
well,
easily.
He's on 23 now.
25. 25 and 20.
25.
And we've got 18 more games to go.
25 Premier League goals in 20 games.
Do you want to know what's mad? One of the people in work told me that there was a point where because he scored 3 hat-tricks on the bounce, didn't he?
Yes.
And there was a point where his average goal tally at the end of the season was like 110 goals. That's how insane he was doing. He's dipped recently. Like, by the hat-trick he scored. When did he score a hat-trick? Last game?
Yes, against Wolves.
Yes, that was it. So before that and the Spurs game, sorry,
yes.
I think he was in a bit of a drought where he scored one in like 4.
Yeah, he only scored 1 goal every game.
Yeah, but now he's really getting back to it again. But what was the other topic? Sorry, after the Haaland one.
The other topic was Pep Guardiola.
Oh yeah.
Champions League.
Oh, will they win it?
Yes.
No, they won't. Of course they won't. Who have they drawn? I'll find out quickly.
They have drawn RB Leipzig, I believe.
Oh yeah, they'll beat them. Hold on, let me just see.
Will having Haaland help win them the Champions League? Yes or no? Not?
No, it won't. Because
I believe Haaland will help.
Wait to see who they draw. With the teams in it, I don't see them getting past the likes of Bayern Munich. I wouldn't see them beating Real Madrid. Probably those 2 sides. Probably the 3rd best side in there. But City, over the past few years, they get beat by teams that they really shouldn't.
It's true.
Monaco, Lyon, Liverpool. Well, Liverpool's kind of respectable, but that current Liverpool side wasn't, compared to where City were that year anyway. And then they obviously made a Champions League final against Chelsea. You don't, in my opinion, you shouldn't be losing to Chelsea in the Champions League final. Not that Chelsea were a poor side and didn't deserve to win, because they did. But like, if you're Manchester City and you're playing Chelsea, you should win that or take it at least.
You should be turning up. You should be.
So no, they won't win the Champions League this season. And I hope they don't. I don't want any of these money. I don't want Man City or PSG winning these Champions Leagues like that, because I just don't like it.
Okay, well, moving on to the team in first place, Arsenal Football Club.
Oh my God.
19 games played, 16 wins, 2 draws, and only 1 loss, which we addressed, which was Man United.
I think this is the most unexpected thing compared to Newcastle, Fulham, or Liverpool, all of it. Because, they've came from nowhere. Like, last season they missed out on the top 4. So like you said, with teams where they miss out on something, they get angry. You think, okay, they'll just
get top 4.
Yeah, they'll just get top 4. And instead Arsenal have just been like, not only are we getting top 4, we're going to get the whole lot. And they've just been phenomenal. Martin Odegaard has won my heart. I absolutely love him. He's a phenomenal football player. He's so good. And their entire team is just built under they're so good to watch. Just that's how football should be played. And I'm happy Arsenal are sticking to their tradition of just football heritage. That's just how they play the game, and they play it so well. And I love seeing them just beat teams left, right and centre. They're back where they should be, realistically. They are. Yeah. It's been a long time coming. They're going to get Champions League football. I think they'll win the title. Big statement, but I think they'll win it.
That's why I never mentioned Man City, will they do it or not? I wanted to leave it down to that Arsenal. Big question. Do I think Arsenal will win the Premier League?
It's so tough, isn't it?
You know what? I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
Because there have been so many times that people have gone City and City have won it. I just want to be different. I'm not going to lie to you.
It reaches Gary Neville's been saying a lot. He doesn't think Arsenal are going to win it, and he stands by it. And I think to myself, you're needing City to be consistent, which obviously they can be, but you're also asking Arsenal to not. You're asking Arsenal to lose at least 2 more games, which,
however,
could happen. But
this is a topic we've not broke about. We've not spoke about yet. They haven't played each other.
Yeah, they've not.
They need to play each other twice.
Sorry, not City. Arsenal, in my opinion, need 4 points. Get a win and a draw. Even a draw and a draw works for them.
A draw and draw works for them.
Just
perfectly.
Don't lose both of them. If they don't lose, they'll win it.
Yeah.
Easily, they'll win it. But I don't think City will beat them. I think they'll beat them both times, Arsenal. I honestly do. I think they'll beat them twice. Because even in the cup game recently, I think Arsenal were really unlucky.
Yeah.
The Nathan Ake goal was gorgeous. I don't know if you've seen it. Beautifully curled. So nice. But I don't think they'll get beat by them. I don't know how Arsenal are going to play, though. Because I don't know if Mikel Arteta will make them play their usual game, or if they'll kind of sit back a bit and kind of just
grind out and win.
Yeah, because they need that. They can't lose to Man City. They can't. It's vital. But in my opinion, they could lose both, and I still think they'll win it, because I think City will just slip up more.
Yeah.
I feel like City are more likely to slip up than Arsenal.
Like the relegation thing, it's not about you, it's about the team above you.
And Arsenal play without pressure, where City are shit, we need to defend our title, and they can't do it this year. And they won't do it this year. I'm so confident in that. I don't think they will. But I do look at games for Arsenal, like Newcastle away and stuff like that. That's a game where it's I don't see them winning. You know what I mean? You already picture it and you think, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. But fair play. They are winning away at some serious grounds. They've still got to go to Anfield, which is always a toughie for them. Obviously the Etihad, St James's Park. I think they've got to go to Fulham, which again won't be easy. Got to go to Goodison Park next game. First game back, Sean Dyche's debut. I think it'll be a tough game for them. And yeah, it's just going to be an interesting run of form until they get to the end of the season. I'll say that.
Well, all I'm going to say is fair play to Mikel Arteta. He would be the manager of the year, and that is saying
I think he should be
a lot with Thomas Frank, the Brighton manager, Marco Silva, Eddie Howe, even Eric Ten Hag, what he's been dealt with. So my prediction, I think Arsenal will win the Premier League.
Yes.
But to kind of do a roundup, and I hope you guys have enjoyed our first episode. As a roundup, who's getting relegated, Cam? 20th, 19th and 18th. What are you saying? Just to kind of brief everyone in.
I think Southampton will finish rock bottom. No. I'm going to say Bournemouth finish rock bottom.
Yep.
Southampton come 19th.
Yep.
And Wolves come 18th.
Okay.
And if anyone's interested, I think Everton will finish around 15th.
Okay. I think Bournemouth will finish rock bottom on 20th. I think Southampton will finish on 19th.
19th, yeah.
And who do I think...
I was going to say, who's the last team?
I never announced it, and there's a reason for it. It's between Leeds United and Wolves for me. But I generally do believe Wolves will go down. Thinking about it even more. Leeds are way more attacking and they'll score more goals. And it's not how many you can defend, it's how many you can score. That's what keeps you up. So I believe Bournemouth will go down with Southampton, and I think Wolves will go down. Fingers crossed as well, because then we will, snatch up Ruben Neves.
And they've got so many good players that you could take.
Yep.
That Podence, I'd love.
However, then making our way up into the top 7. Normally,
we'll do
the top 4.
We'll do the top 7.
Yeah, we'll do the top 7. Who is getting Europa League, Europa Conference League? Who's getting that?
I'm going to say Liverpool.
Liverpool are going to get 7th.
I think Liverpool will finish 7th.
Liverpool are going to get 7th.
But that really depends on how consistent they are. Really does. I could be so wrong on that.
Yep.
But I could also be so correct. I don't know. But yeah, I'll say them. Do you want to do it where we go place to place, or do you want me just do all mine and you do all yours?
You do yours and I do mine.
Yeah, 7th Liverpool. Brighton will get 6th.
Wow.
But I don't see Tottenham staying 5th. But Brighton aren't getting 5th. Oh, I don't know. No. I don't actually know. I should have thought this through more. Yeah, no, actually, looking at the points. Liverpool 7th, Brighton 6th, Tottenham 5th. Going to say Newcastle 4th, Man United 3rd, City 2nd, and Arsenal 1st.
Arsenal win the league?
Yeah, they will. I don't see it. I just don't see them not winning it now. Like, it reaches a stage where I'm sick of the whole, they won't win it. And then they win like 4 games in a row. They won't win it. They beat Liverpool. They won't win it. It's like, it's got to reach a point where that they won't win it mentality switches, because how long does it literally have to go until they've automatically won it for people to be like, oh yeah, they'll win it?
I think in 7th place, I think Chelsea will finish 7th.
Do you?
I think Chelsea will get Europa League press conference.
I think they'll finish 9th.
That's big. I think Chelsea will finish 7th. I think they will get it. I just think because there's only 2 points in it.
Yeah.
Between Chelsea's position in 10th and Brighton in 6th, not 8th and 7th.
Yeah.
So I think Liverpool and Chelsea both have more in them than Brighton and Fulham, no offence to them, in 2 points to get Europa League and Europa League press conference. So I think Chelsea will get 7th. I believe Liverpool will get 6th. I believe Spurs will get 5th. Only just because there is a gap there for Spurs.
Yeah, of course.
There's a 7-point gap there. And it doesn't sound much. However, it is when both teams are winning and some are losing and drawing, this, that and the other.
Yeah.
I believe Spurs will get 5th. I believe Man United will get 4th. I think we will get 4th.
You do? Newcastle. You just think they'll finish 4th?
Yeah, just because of injuries. I feel an injury coming. Yeah. I feel Newcastle are a lot more defensively stable than us. However, we score a lot more goals than them.
Yeah.
Newcastle finished 3rd, Man City 2nd, and I'm going to go with Arsenal winning the Premier League, which is insane.
That is such a weird thing to say.
I don't like it. I don't like it every night.
It's been too long.
I'll give him credit. I will give him credit. But
to do a little closure,
go on.
Do you want to predict the games that are up and coming? So, like, we've got match week 22 for many of the teams. The 3rd of
Sure.
February to the 5th. The 3rd being a Friday night kickoff. I can read them out to you if you want, and we'll just predict them.
You know what?
So I've got
Go
them up
for it,
here.
mate. Go
So,
for it. Knock
The
stuff out.
first game back, 8 o'clock kickoff. We go to the Bridge, and it's Fulham against Chelsea. Well, Chelsea against Fulham at Stamford Bridge.
Chelsea versus Fulham.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I believe it'll be a cagey match. I think
Yeah.
it normally is at the Bridge nowadays. However, I feel Chelsea will get over the line. I think Chelsea will win 1-0.
See, I'm literally the exact opposite. I think Fulham are going to get their first win at Stamford Bridge. I think in the Premier League ever, but I think it'll be 1-0. They're just gonna it'll be literally one of those goals where I could see it even being just a mistake where it just rolls into the back of the net and that's it. They just hang on. Yeah, Fulham fans go mental. And everyone's like, oh.
Okay, so Cam is saying Fulham 1, Chelsea 0.
I don't know
Chelsea
why.
0, Fulham 1.
I don't know. I feel like they've got more in them to win it.
I'm saying Chelsea will scrape a 1-0, and I think he'll be the new signing, Majorek, I think his name is.
Oh, it's this Friday as well.
This Friday, there we
go. Then we have Everton at home to Arsenal. 12:30 kickoff to open the weekend.
Please take it away.
I'm confident. I am. I don't know why. But I don't think we're going to lose. I don't. I think we're going to draw 0-0 or 1-1. Very cagey. But I just don't see us getting beat. I don't know why.
Credit.
You know when you imagine a scoreline and you just think to yourself that doesn't seem right.
Are you thinking of Man City? Are you thinking of
No, because I thought we were going to get beat. But it kind of reminds me when we played Crystal Palace and we beat them 3-0. There wasn't a thought in my mind where I thought to myself, oh, we'll get beat. I always consider it when we play a team, could this side beat us? Could this side beat us? And you know what I'm where I'll admit when we're shit. So, realistically, me going into the game against the top of the league is it's bold. And I wouldn't usually make that claim, but I just don't imagine the scoreline where we've got beat.
So what score are you saying then?
0-0.
You say 0-0?
I think it'll be a draw.
You reckon they'll slip up here, Arsenal?
Yeah, I do.
I'm saying Arsenal win this 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, sorry.
I could have said we'd score.
I know. I could have said 3-1 at least.
3-1's a scoreline I could see to Arsenal. If we were going to get beat, it'd be something like that.
I think Arsenal will beat you 3-0. I think they'll run riot like they normally do. They'll pass through you, and the first goal will go in. The confidence will drop again because that's what it's like.
Wolves and Liverpool in the next game at Wolves.
Wow. I think Liverpool will get the job done.
I think Liverpool win this.
I think Liverpool win this 2-1. I think Wolves will score first, but then Liverpool will bounce back and win 2-1. I'm
going to say 2-0 to Liverpool. Next we have Brentford at home to Southampton.
I think
I'm going to say 4-1 to Brentford.
I'm going to say Brentford 1, Southampton 1.
Ooh,
I'm saying a draw. I'm saying Southampton are going to try and claw out. They'll struggle.
Aston Villa at home to Leicester.
Wow.
I feel like this is just going to be a draw.
Yeah.
Like a 1-1 or something, Or maybe Leicester win it 1-0, like a cheeky.
I see Aston Villa winning 2-0.
Do you think?
2-0.
Yeah.
I see Aston Villa winning 2-0. I think they're in a better run of form than Leicester at the moment. Definitely.
Got Brighton at home to Bournemouth.
Oh, they'll run through them.
Yeah, so I think Brighton will win about 3-0.
I was just going to say Brighton 3, Bournemouth 0. I think they'll run through them.
This one's an odd one. Man United and Palace. They only played each other 2 weeks ago.
I know. We were winning the game for the 93rd minute, and then their right back scored an absolute screamer and free kick. However, the thing we're forgetting is that United are at Old Trafford, and we have a very good record. I'm going to say 3-2 to Man United. I think Palace will give you a game. I do. I don't know why. I think Palace will give us a game as well. I think we'll win. I think it'll be Man United 3, Palace 1. Okay, yeah. And then to close off the Saturday games, we have Newcastle at home to West Ham, which to me is just going to be a simple 2-0. I think it'll be Newcastle 1, West Ham 1. Yeah, I think West Ham will nick it. You know what? Do you want to know what's mad? You kind of stole that from my brain because I was thinking, and I was literally about to say, if anyone's going to slip here, it'd be them, and they draw again. I think they'll slip.
Yeah, no, it's a big shout. Next, we have Nottingham Forest at home to Leeds.
That screams a banger. That's a banger of a game.
I think Leeds are going to batter them. I think Leeds will win about 4-1. Something stupid. Like, genuinely, I just think it's going to be like a stupid game that.
I think Nottingham Forest will draw 2-2.
I hope so. I don't know.
Think 2-2 or potentially 3-3. This
Something
has
stupid,
potential to be the game of the season.
Get you any money, it's going to be 0-0 now.
Mate, if it's 0-0, I'm fucking retiring this podcast.
And then Tottenham. Oh wow, this was quick. And then Tottenham are at home to Man City.
Tottenham are at home to Man City. Okay, well.
I think City will.
I think City will smoke them.
They've never won at Tottenham's new ground.
Yeah, well.
And I think that'll continue.
Really?
I do.
Go on.
I think it'll be a 1-1 or
1-1.
Something shit.
So Arsenal and Man City slipping up at the same time. Yeah. It would be ironic.
It's typical.
It's very typical. It's Premier League football, isn't it? I'm saying Man City 3, Spurs 1.
I'd say if City are going to win like 2-0. Haaland just boom, done.
Just too quick.
Yeah, easy. Like 2 in 2 minutes or something stupid like that. And that's it.
Well, that was our first podcast of Let's Talk Football.
Yeah. Wow.
Not that bad, was it?
I know, it's good. It's good.
Well, we've been on air. On air. That's fancy,
wow.
innit?
Oh, have you finished it?
No.
No,
we're still going.
Oh, okay.
We are on air. We've been on air for an hour and 50 minutes.
I saw that.
We've absolutely smashed it.
There you go.
I think we have anyway. Guys, let us know down in the comments. This will be a weekly thing. We will be reacting to our game week. We'll be reacting to the game week, which will be probably next Friday or Saturday.
I feel like it's a good settler. Like,
yes.
We just needed the first little podcast to kind of settle the nerves a bit.
Yeah, settle the nerves.
Get stuff,
introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
And the most exciting part of this all is that over on Cam's channel, which is called Vinsmoke Cam, the link will be down in the description. We have another podcast called Let's Talk, and we will be speaking about a bunch of topics.
Just anything, innit?
And it will have our first podcast episode, and it's where I explain about the channel of the Roberto Gamer.
Remember him?
Yeah, remember him. It's like dusting the cobwebs, and about the future of the channel.
It feels like the Roberto game was like just going in an abandoned house, and you kind of like look at the old frames, and you just see like certain things.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my god.
It's like going down memory lane.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to check out, there will be a link down in the description. Get yourself over to there. Take a listen. We hope you enjoy. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you guys next week with. Oh, what game week is it? Not correct, because all of them are 19, 20, 21.
Literally, it's match week 22, so it will be after the games we've just listed.
Okay, so we will see you guys next week. We hope you enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you guys in the next podcast episode.
See you all later, guys.
See you later, guys.